Oh my God, Picasa. Good Lord. Casa, got a stinky booty. Ooh. Yeah, you. That was you. You smell bad. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm hoping to share with you the top recommendations I have for what to pack and what not to pack when you're heading to guide dog training.
Images of Nicole and Figaro, Nicole's husband Devin and daughters, and a hand-drawn image of Nicole and Figaro by blind artist John Ross Quevedo. Scroll, ending with a blind mom next door.
I'm a guide dog handler living and working in Minnesota, and I have trained with and worked with 3 different guide dogs. This is my first guide dog, Picasa, and she is actually retired. She stayed in our home as our pet when she retired. Yes, you beautiful girl. I have trained with and received each of my guide dogs through Guide Dogs for the Blind, whose primary campus is in San Rafael, California, with a secondary campus in Boring, Oregon. I have only trained on the Oregon campus, but I've also been to the San Rafael campus and participated in activities there. While most of my suggestions today will be generalizable regardless of the organization that you train with for your guide dog, some of them may be weather dependent and some may vary based on the equipment that the organization you're training through issues to you as a team.
1. 2 pair of supportive, comfortable, broken-in walking shoes.
First up on the list is to bring 2 pair of broken-in, supportive walking shoes. You will be walking a lot. A lot. The amount that you walk during guide dog training will vary based on your day-to-day life, but you are going to be walking substantially more than you would in almost any other 2-week increment at home doing your day-to-day things. A little add-on here, if you have either been without a guide dog for a while and you're returning for a successor dog, or if this is your first guide dog and you're not super physically active, you may want to gradually increase the amount that you are physically active or the amount of walking that you do between, say, 6 months prior to your training dates and your actual training dates. That's gonna allow your body to really gradually get used to that much walking, and it's not gonna be such a shock when you're actually in your guide dog training. Preparing your body in that way and making sure that you are physically ready to handle the rigorous activity in guide dog training is going to not only benefit you physically and prevent things like shin splints or pain during your training, but it's also going to really facilitate that bonding process between you and your dog. During your guide dog training, you really want that foundation to be the focus. Training with a guide dog is not the time for your shiniest 3-inch stilettos, and it's not the time for your Dollar Tree 2 for $1 flip-flops. You really want shoes that are going to keep up to the rigor and demand of the training that you're participating in. Your training is going to be different and individualized from that of your classmates, but the reality is that your training is also going to be more vigorous than your day-to-day life back at home. You want to be kind to your body and to your feet because this training is intense. It's intense physically and it's intense emotionally, especially if you're going for a successor dog.
2. Plenty of comfortable clothes and 1 or 2 dress outfits.
Second on the list of what to bring to guide dog training. Mostly comfortable clothes with 1 or 2 dress outfits that you would be comfortable wearing in a more public venue. I'm gonna liken guide dog training to an adult version of summer camp, with some dressy parts thrown in. You spend a lot of your time active, involved, and engrossed in activity with your new guide dog. Walking routes with your new guide dog, learning cues, commands, and techniques that will serve as the foundation for your partnership. Some of your time is spent relaxing, reading, studying, talking with your classmates, and getting to know your new 4-legged partner. And a little bit of your time is spent eating amazing, nourishing meals made by on-site nutritional staff and working with on-site nursing staff to make sure that your body and physical health are at tip-top shape throughout your training. Lastly, in that little bit of time is going to be communicating with your family back at home. Especially for those of us who have partners or children in the picture, 2 weeks is a long time to be away from home. Training with a guide dog is an adult learning setting, and the goal of those 2 weeks of training is to set the most solid foundation for yourself and your new guide dog as possible. Focus on your learning or relearning if you're a return handler, and really take that time to focus on and invest in establishing establishing a relationship with your new guide dog while you have those couple of weeks without the distractions of your typical day-to-day life. Most days, as I said earlier, you'll be walking a lot, so you want to have comfortable clothing for the level of activity that you're going to be doing. It's also a really good thing to have layers available, especially if the campus that you're attending isn't your normal climate. Check with the organization that you're attending before you go, but when I've attended GDB, they have had rain gear specifically available for checkout. So each of the times I have always checked out a pair of rain pants and a rain jacket. When I trained with Picasa, in fact, I did not anticipate Portland being as cold as it was, and my hands were freezing. I hadn't brought gloves, so a few days into training, I ended up having to go and find gloves to purchase. All I could think about was how freezing cold my hands were, so my focus and attention weren't on doing the best job I could handling my guide dog. My thoughts kept going to, oh my gosh, my hands are so cold. This will vary by organization as well, but Guide Dogs for the Blind does have a public graduation ceremony at the end of your training. The graduation ceremony is important for a number of reasons, but one of those is that it serves as an opportunity to give recognition to the many donors, volunteers, puppy raisers, staff, and others who make our partnerships possible. For many of us completing our guide dog training, that graduation ceremony is one of our first and primary opportunities to meet our puppy raisers. Without them, our partnerships wouldn't be possible.
3. Creature comforts.
The third thing on my list of suggestions to absolutely bring with you for guide dog training are creature comforts. If you have a specific pillow that without it you cannot sleep well, make sure you bring it. Or if you have a pair of headphones without which you just cannot zone out and relax in the evening after you've had a really long day of work, make sure that you bring those. You want your downtimes to be able to be spent in such a way that you're going to re-energize through them. Now, if you're a cigarette smoker, I'm not, or you have a pretty concrete bad habit of soda consumption, I do, then you want to make sure that your training period is not the time that you decide to break all the bad habits. Just don't do it. The last thing you really want to do, and the last thing any of us who might be your classmates want to do, is deal with somebody going through withdrawal. What's more, if you quit long-standing bad habits, so to speak, during your training, you won't be at your best. And you really need to be at your best when you're establishing this new partnership. You want to be able to give it your all, and you want to be able to go home with the best possible outlook for you and your guide dog as a new team. Notice that I said cigarettes and soda or coffee. If your habits are more illicit in nature, they will not be accepted or tolerated during guide dog training. And honestly, and without judgment, if you struggle with alcohol abuse or substance use, please reach out and talk to someone and seek help and support for your own physical and mental health and well-being.
What not to bring? Loads of stuff for your new guide dog.
Now, what not to bring? As tempting as it is, and we all know how tempting it is when you find out that you are going to be matched with a guide dog and you have a class date. It is so tempting to buy things for your new guide dog. Don't do it. Or if you must buy certain things, buy very basic things like 2 large dog bowls, one for food, one for water, a dog bed that would fit your average Labrador or Golden Retriever or Lab Golden Cross. Most schools don't disclose the breed, color, name, height, weight, or collar and food needs of the dog that they're matching you with until a couple of days into training. And there's always a possibility of a dog change until about halfway through training if the match isn't working out as the training staff expected. Additionally, most organizations issue a number of things to the new team. Certainly things may change over time, but when Figaro and I trained together, he was issued with his collar and necessary tags. I received his leash, reward pouch, harness, and gentle leader. We received a number of grooming supplies based on his coat and veterinarian suggestions, along with his supply of heartworm medications and flea and tick applications. Guide Dogs for the Blind provided Figaro's food throughout our training and an initial supply of food sufficient for our travel home. Additionally, you won't really know your new guide dog's play preferences for a while. And while you're in training, at least with Guide Dogs for the Blind, you do have an opportunity to go to the organization's gift shop, and you do have some opportunities to go to a brick and mortar store. So you could purchase some toys. I believe we were issued a choice of 2 toys also during our training. So it's not like you're leaving without any toys. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that while you're in training, you're going to have access to things like the internet. It exists in Oregon. And in California. Certainly, as you get to know your dog a little bit better, go ahead and do an online order so that when you arrive home, everything's there and ready for you. Is this a staring contest? You blinked. I'm gonna end this for now. I know that I'm gonna have other ideas that come up, and I will probably end up having to add on to this and do a second video that details more of what I would suggest you bring or not bring. For those of you who are going to receive your first guide dog, or for those of you who are moving on to a successor dog, I wish you the best of luck during your training, a wonderful training experience, and a wonderful partnership with your new guide dog. If you enjoyed this video, please click that thumbs up button. And if you're interested in future videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and click that bell to receive any notifications of future videos. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.